You might know Aquaman 2 is coming up, and you know who is still in the movie. Now, some box office predictions came out, and there's some mixed feelings. But some of her fans, let's just call her Mera, well, as you can see, they're happy she's in it, but not all of them. It's real weird. Some of them are saying, no Mera, no movie. They mean if she's cut down, no movie, and that's cool, okay, so don't see it. But also, they're blaming the low predictions on it being a bro movie. I don't think so. This is obviously some AI generator. No one made that. It looks okay, I guess, but obviously pretty silly because she's only in it for like 8 minutes or 4 or 6, or we'll see. This person, Stan, who is an Amber Stan, obviously, and his literal name is Stan, says, thanks, it's mine. Oh my god, the poster we deserve. It should read The Abuser. Well, that person's obviously not a fan. Laugh out loud, about time she was removed from the film Justice for Johnny. Well, as you can see, like I said, mixed. Big Guy says, except it's going to make money because 90% of the audience are men, which is a pretty good point. I mean, hey, the first one made over $1 billion, and you know who was in it as a pretty big role. But, I think the guys just kind of saw it. They didn't know what they were getting. The point being, the majority of people who are seeing it are probably men, and they're cool with a bro movie, like with Aquaman and his half brother or Orm or whatever it is on their adventures. Supermaster says, we want Mera. Mike says, of pooping in beds. Well, those jokes will never end. In case you're curious, no, they're not going anywhere. They're permanent. The flappy fish, the poo in the bed, the step in the bee, they're all here to stay forever. I'm just a messenger. I'm not making that rule up. Tisha says, right, because no one's seeing it with her in it, so when it fails, you guys can claim you were the reason when you never see her films when she's actually the star. Like we'll get to in a minute, they didn't go see In the Fire. It did real bad at the box office and got really low reviews. So if you follow that logic, maybe they're not going to see Aquaman 2. No money with Mera either. Sorry to break it to you, they should have just cut her when they found out she had no acting skills or chemistry with the lead. I'll agree there. Aside from everything else, all the controversy, the case in Virginia, there's like 18 million people who could do it better than her, and that's just, around that town where Warner Bros. Is. I've got no idea. That was just a number, but, I probably undershot it. Here we go. This is what I was talking about. 14% from the critics and 22% from the audience score. I must admit, there's not too many scores there. However, if it was more than 7, say 27, 47, would it matter? Probably not. But yeah, that goes to show. Not like this big support for her showed up in droves. And Aisha says, and people are going to try and pin it on her, but remember who wasn't in the trailers and how much attention those trailers got compared to the first movie. Well, it's not all about whether she's in the trailer or not, or what they show of her, or what they don't, or what she does or what she doesn't do. It's about people knew she would be in it and they weren't paying attention. They go back to saying it was $1 billion movie and Mera was in the lead, blah, 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 blah. I'll tell you a story real quick. So Captain Marvel, the first one, did over $1 billion. And the fans of Captain Marvel love to shove that in your face if you don't like the movie or Brie Larson. But the fact was, it was around Infinity Wars and Endgame, and people thought they had to see that to fill in the full story. Not only that, it was on an up curve of Marvel success. So in a similar way, people went to see Momoa. It was on an up curve of DC movies, a lot of hype with Justice League and stuff like that around. It was just a good time. It wouldn't have mattered if Mera was in it. In the same way, Captain Marvel wouldn't have mattered what it was. It was at the good time when all the success was going on. And last and least, we've got Amber's biggest fan, Sergis Sacchetti, who says, maybe people wasn't as eager for a bro comedy despite all your excuses, James Wan. Maybe sidelining the female lead wasn't a good idea. No, Absolutely not. Here's why. There's been a female lead in every franchise for the last 5 years, and people are getting tired of it. It's becoming a cliche. Indiana Jones, female sidekick. Star Wars, Rey. Like I said, Captain Marvel. Ghostbusters changed to all females. Thor, Love and Thunder. They have Thor with a woman. There was talk about a female lead to replace Johnny. Wait, I forgot T6. Also, a female lead instead of John Connor. So notice I'm not talking about new original ones. Barbie's fine, that's original. I'm talking about remakes and replacements. Anyway, going too deep down the rabbit hole. The point is, that's not the reason because people have seen that every day for the last 5 years or 6 years or whatever. Now, the Flash Film News says it's tracking to 32 million or 42 million domestic total, ranging between 105 and 106 million, which is pretty low. Just a prediction, but it's one from a movie site, and it's a pretty solid one. It's a solid number. They say it's beating out Shazam and Fear of the Gods. Now, there was a new Shazam. Maybe that's the one they're talking about because that was the low one. I heard Black Adam didn't do so great either. But anyway, like I said, some nice solid numbers where people are just kind of saying 500, 150, 200, throwing numbers out there. This is more specific. Anyway, as you can see, there's some mixed feelings on The Queen. I'm kind of lost right now. At first I thought, well, maybe it would do like 500, like half of the first one. Then I thought less. Now I see this box office prediction and I'm like, I'm not sure. My new stance is, I still think it'll make its money back, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did tank. Anyway, if you're not subscribed here, consider it. If you don't, I'll be real sad about it, but I'll get over it. See you next time.